Hey, this is NFTeve, and I'm here with Dr. Lemny today. How are you doing, Doctor?
I'm well, Eve. Thanks for having me. You're so sweet. I'm so happy. I'm well. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. If you don't know Dr. Lemny, she's like a famous OG in the NFT space. She's amazing. And she's also one of the most positive, sort of cute people out there. Lives in New York City. She's an Afro-Dominicana. She's a psychologist, a writer, an abstract NFT artist, an actress. She's a collector. She's a curator for the Searchlight team for NFT tips. She's sold 61 of one NFTs. She's had 10 shows. She's been collected by the World of Women, Nyla, and many other very prominent collectors out there. And she's been featured in Forbes Magazine. And I'm going to let her tell the other things because I could not write them all down. There were so many. So tell us the last bit of your resume that I missed, because it was pretty important.
Just ringing those bells. Thank you so much, Eve, for having me. So just to top it off, because I'm constantly busy all the time. So yeah, I'm the coaching lead and a secretary board member at the Dream Conduit. And what the Dream Conduit is a carbon neutral nonprofit DAO that focuses on onboarding creatives into the NFT space. So that's my role there. I've sold, like you said, that many amount of like NFTs. Let's see. I'm also the creative director for the Mint List, which is an NFT music podcast on Spotify. And I'm on the board for ManaXR Technologies, Inc., which is a web XR company focusing on, mental health in the metaverse. And then I'm also, Jesus Christ, a community lead at EQQO, which is a generative project that stands for Equal, Quality, Queer, and Original, and also a consultant at Queenz Collection, which is another project that I'm super excited about that really focuses on an NFT project. It's a generative one that focuses on onboarding women and also creating community with women of color. Also an ambassador for the Knuckleheads NFT Project, which is a Washington Heights based project here in Washington Heights, where I'm from, that really supports kids and things and folks of that nature, people who are typically like marginalized and all that. And then I'm also going to be a speaker at NFT-NYC at the conference. So big ups to everyone who allows me to work with them and has the patience to let me be myself and be a busy bee and all of that. So that's my bio in a nutshell. Thank you again, Eve, for having me.
In a nutshell. Thank you. So now everybody follow Dr. Lemny. She's this amazing OG, and she's huge in spaces. That's where I've heard her in spaces in Clubhouse for quite a while now. And you're also just so positive, encouraging. You're like one of the most jazzed up NFT encouragers that I know of. So it's so cool to talk to you. Gosh, there's so much to say. I don't even know what to even ask, but wow. I don't know. What are you excited about today? Is there something you want to talk about first? Yeah, what's on your mind today? What are you up to today?
I'm excited about you. I was like, yay, I'm gonna be on YouTube with Eve. This is just absolutely amazing and phenomenal. Super excited. Today, I had a couple of rooms and spaces. We were talking about just kind of trying to fix the globe and just the climate change. We had some folks coming into the Dream Conduit. So I was really happy about that. Tonight, I'm gonna meet one of my NFT friends here in the city. I'm in New York currently. So we're gonna hang out, do some things. But essentially, just really grateful for all the things that are happening right now. I'm really thankful for Known Origin right now, who I've been featured, and a couple of days ago was the #1 trending artist there. So big ups to that platform. I just dropped a new collection on there a couple days ago, and I just had a birthday a week ago. So
really, happy birthday! You're Aries. No wonder that's why you're moving full steam ahead, right?
Little bit, yeah. Just really happy to be alive and to be in the space and to share time with everyone. And like you said, just focused on uplifting and being positive and being supportive. As a clinical psychologist, I kind of get I've been with people at their worst. So, it's really wonderful to be here and to be, with others at their best as well. So yeah.
No, the NFT space is so exciting because they actually, it's like all of these individual people, all of these people with things that they want to do to help other people or things they want to create, together, like in these DAOs or even alone, we're able to like go and reach out to so many people across the world, and it's just getting bigger and better. So I'm really excited. I actually was depressed for like 25 years. I had like dysthymia. Like that was my baseline was like, oh, everything's so hard, And I want to write a book about it one day because I'm not depressed anymore, which is kind of amazing. But like that's so cool. All the people, there's so many people like yourself who are doing the metaverse psychology and the NFT psychology, which is great. I mean, I actually am doing a show with some people just on that topic, so I can invite you for that group chat too. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. I mean, you're just so amazing. Like, gosh, usually I have so many questions, but let me try to think of one. Wow. How did you get into NFTs?
Okay, good. That's a good one. To answer that question. And that's a good start, because gosh, I heard about them for the first time in October of 2020. And a friend of mine who's an artist and he's into tech as well, he was like, there's this new technology and you can really, make like social impact and also do your art. I was kind of like going through a transition in my life. I was kind of like doing my whole midlife crisis situation. The pandemic was happening. And he was like, how about you try this? And I was really resistant about it. Like I'm not necessarily, I've had some traumas to heal, Eve, regarding tech, and so I was like, don't talk to me about it. I'm not interested. And then, slowly but surely, I came into Clubhouse. I was kind of like waiting for the invite because it was so exclusive at that time. And like you had to wait for someone to bring you in. And I had some friends who were already doing like meditation in there and some writing, which is how I initially jumped in. And I saw like, the crypto spaces and the NFT rooms, and I was just kind of like hesitant still. So it wasn't really until like 3 months later in March of 2021 that I kind of like finally decided. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna see what these people are talking about and see if it's something that's going to like, really be what he was telling me. In terms of like, I've always been interested as someone who's been a clinical psychologist, and I was a director of behavioral health at a federally qualified health center. And for me, like wanting to have a social impact component to how I was coming into the space was really important. So it took me like about, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 months before I even minted anything. I was really in the community trying to learn. I was hesitant again because I didn't want to get hacked. Security was super important to me at that time. It still is, and so those were kind of like the elements that kind of like had me kind of like pumping the brakes, on like really not necessarily like going in full steam ahead. I mean, I saw some friends, around, that, last year in the quarter 1 who just like after 5 weeks had already minted. And I was like, are you serious? Like, I can't understand what's happening here. So it was quite some time. And it was really interesting because by the time, Eve, that I did decide to drop, like, I sold out, because everyone was just kind of like anticipating. Yeah, it was super dope. Thank you. Like people were just anticipating the drop for like the longest, or like, yo, them, when are you gonna drop your stuff? And I was like, not yet. It was really interesting because a friend of mine, she's just like, just try one, and just get your feet wet and get in there, because conceptually you really don't know what it looks like unless you actually go through the process, right? Like it's just like super abstract. And so I minted it. I didn't tell anyone anything about it. And the next day I woke up and it was sold, and it was just like the best feeling ever. And then like the following month I put together a collection, and I minted it across 3 platforms because I'm super platform agnostic. I'm not particular about any platform, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Thanks for putting those on Tezos. You had some affordable ones on Tezos that I got to collect. I get to collect one. I was like, oh my God. So let's look at your work. Like that's so cool. And like the community in the NFT space is so huge. And that's really how a lot gets done. And so that was really cool that you jumped in and you were, you know, talking and sharing and your concerns and your background, and then everyone just kind of waiting for your drop. That's pretty amazing. I'm going to share some of your pieces. That's so cool. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's really amazing. Yeah, yeah, you know, like, yeah, being in the NFT community is very transformational for me because there's so many like beautiful souls in here, and there's so much vulnerability and people sharing their lives and people from all over the world, you know. And I was in like the real, you know, the real art world, you know, the traditional art world. And it was very, I just never felt comfortable in there, you know. So there was like one little gallery and you got to fight for that space, and I don't know, you gotta have drinks and like say smart stuff. And I just like it when everybody's there. You know what I mean? Like in NFT community, we have everybody, have a very smart people, very advanced artists, and people that they just started yesterday making their first picture. So it's what I love about it. I just love it. I just love it.
Yeah, the diversity is absolutely amazing. It's super humbling to have like you said, just people from all different walks. You know, the space is so rewarding because like at its crux, really essentially is community and relationships. You know, it's not necessarily like, you know, having a gatekeeper or, you know, your education or, you know, a particular type of preferred personality to take the floor. Really, like I think one of the cruxes is this desire and this need for integrating and incorporating and really having everyone an inclusiveness or an inclusivity rather with all the participants, you know, and to embrace all parts of ourselves and all and the diversity of life. So I'm happy you're here too.
I know, I love it here. And I just have to add this one more thing before we show you pictures. Like, I'm very into female empowerment, you know, for myself and then everybody else too. And especially through money, because one day, you know, I've been an artist, and then one day, you know, and I'm even doing well as an artist, but not doing well financially. And I'm just like, you know, this is not okay, you know. And also I was in spiritual world, also not with the money. And I'm like, you know what, this is not okay. Like, we really need that money, you know. So I got very into like, you know, how to get money and reading so many books and studying, you know, especially the female mindset about money. Why don't you have money? Like, get rich, lucky bitch. Like, oh, if I have money, everyone think I'm a bitch. So it's better to stay poor and nice and humble and sweet. And, you know, I just read all this stuff. And so now I'm like, I'm going to get that money. I'm going to crack the code. Because you were posting the other day about like, even in the NFT world, it's still men that's getting the big sales. I'm glad you made so many sales. So, but it's like, one of my secret, you know, desires, like, I'm going to crack this code. And that's one reason I want to interview you too, because I know we're going to crack this code and we're going to get all of that money for, you know, for women, you know, that it's not like just so much, you know, more difficult. So anyway,
I'm sorry, after you. Yeah.
No, just years ago when I was in the art world, I was like, you know what, this isn't okay. We need to figure out how to make money. And all my artist friends are like, well, we can get grants. And it's like, even the most successful people in my town work night and day and we're not really wealthy. So I'm like, if they're at the top, forget it. So anyway, that's how one reason I got into NFTs, because I'm like, it's not acceptable to be, I don't think poverty is this amazing attribute, you know. So you know, we really get taught that, you know, as spiritual people and as women. And, you know, okay, let me share some of your work. I lost it. I lost it on the wait, hold on, maybe I'm gonna find it, maybe.
Yeah, to your point, you know, while you're looking for it, this notion, I mean, there is definitely a bro culture, you know, in the NFT space, you know, and kind of like still, you know, I've experienced like this pay gap and this differential between, hey, there we are. There's like different
top screen there. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So please, there's a lot to be changed for sure. Yeah,
there's a lot. I think about it because I go in the bros, and at first, like, because as an NFT, as an artist, I've never even hung out with this kind of person before. So I'm like, oh, who are these people? And they're so foreign to me, and I don't like the way they talk. And then I'm like, you know what? These are human beings. I'm just going to try to get into them and how they are, because you know what? They're fine. they're fine too. And if I was a bro, I mean, I think part of it is like natural, like the bros help the bros because it's natural. Like I really gravitate to a lot of women or one-on-one artists. Like I just naturally gravitate to who I gravitate to. So I'm trying to like, I don't know. I just spend a lot of time thinking about this kind of thing because it's actually very.
I'm with you. You know, we talk a lot about it in, you know, in spaces and in a lot of the work that I do and in a lot of the artwork that I also do as well. It's something that I think we've been kind of like indoctrinated and socialized, and that we're still contending with, you know, really breaking through stereotypes and patterns of what so and so should and could be, you know. So we're defying a lot of things here and reifying the world. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing for sure.
Yeah, I actually think part of it's biological too, but it's just like in 2022, we can't really like, it's not really, it's not getting it. We need that, you know, we need to compensate or whatever. Anyway, let's look at your work. It's amazing. This is your pieces on Known Origin, which you are on the front page of the website this week as the #1 artist. Amazing, congratulations. And you have sold like so many of your pieces.
Thank you. Thank you. There's I've been just putting them out like slowly but surely.
I'll just click on some, and if you want, if you get any inspiration, just talk about a particular thing.
Okay. So this is called Cheer Up Pug. And looking here and it says many days you were down and then your luck changed. Cheer up, Pug. And so yeah. So this really speaks to well, first of all, when I made it, I was like, that looks like a little pug face. You know, just kind of like the scrunched up, like little you know, this part of the face here. And so that's what inspired my naming it that. And just you know, when I did this collection, I did it about, I want to say now a month ago. And I had some time for some quiet. You know, I went on social media and I told everyone I'm going to sit down and work on my Known Origin collection. And it was a full moon, and I was working for like 8 hours nonstop. So I was really excited about being able to hop into the flow and really give myself that opportunity to give it a complete passion and love. With this particular piece, I think one of the things that I've been processing a lot in the NFT space and just in life in general is this kind of propensity that you were talking about to give, 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 give. You know, being socialized like that as a woman, and also just maternally having that inclination to want to love and support. And so I found myself all of last year for the most part, because you said this is 2022. And like I mentioned, you know, it was just my birthday, you know, about a week ago. This desire and this want to really kind of like do things differently. And so when I was doing this collection and this particular piece here, I was really processing a lot of anger and frustration that I was having about giving so much to the NFT space and to the Web3 community and not necessarily getting back in par. You know, I'm kind of like, you know, at this point, I never had any social media because you know, as a clinical psychologist, I was very kind of mindful of how I was showing up in public spaces. And my Twitter is absolutely brand new. It's a year old now. You know, I've got 16,000.5 followers, you know, which was never ever, I was like, I could never have imagined. And that happened essentially by me like loving and supporting and just being absolutely amazed by my feed. I was like, holy crap, like these people that are coming through here right now are just like luminaries, you know. And I was so impressed, and I just could not help myself but to, you know, love and support others and to retweet and to connect and to engage. And so through that practice, you know, my account grew and grew. But also, you know, the other side of that was just this kind of like frustration and this battle within myself, to be giving so much and to not be receiving, you know. And so when I was doing this, you know, part of my process is very you know, like I said, I go into, I'm not thinking of concepts, you know. I just go on and I scribble and doodle, and then I start giving form to what comes up from that unconscious. You know, I start adding colors and different layers and start to kind of like put some meat on the bones. And so when I'm kind of doing these abstract pieces, I start seeing faces and images and forms, and start to kind of like give them a body and texture and more definition, but still within the realm of keeping things pretty abstract, because it's just kind of like a medium and a form that speaks to me, because I feel like people can really project more, and can really I mean, we're constantly projecting anyway, but with things that are a little bit less rigid, like my artwork, I feel like I can engage more people and bring them in a different type of way, not necessarily more, because I think people have different preferences regardless. So I was noticing, again, going back to the story about giving so much to the space, that I wasn't receiving. And I was like, well, what am I not giving to myself? Like I can't really be in this kind of like codependent type of relationship with people where like I'm kind of like expecting, things back, as a practicing Buddhist,
Yeah.
you're giving
Yeah.
what you want to, you're not giving to expect something back. And so I was like, I think it's finally my turn to sit down and do what I need to do to give back to myself. And that was art, you know? So that's what these pieces and this collection in Known Origin is speaking about, is me really kind of giving to myself, processing all that frustration, all those emotions, all of those dynamics and relationships that were not serving me. My anger and frustration with people that I was giving to who were not necessarily showing up for me, and just really putting that out there. So with this collection, I've not necessarily, I've validated to myself that, I can actually go into my art practice and come out with something that not only am I appreciating it, but others as well, and is being recognized by platforms like Known Origin, who have put me on their front page, who have, who I'm trending with, who connect with me on a personal basis. I was brought on there, and shout outs and big ups to Monica. She's an art school tourist,
Yeah.
and she's part of the ambassador program, and she's the woman who brought me on. The ambassadors get to select 2 artists in the NFT space who have not been had the opportunity for whatever reason to come onto the platform, and she has just been most gracious to do that for me, and it's been really lovely to be in community with other artists who also understand the value and the worth of supporting one another.
Wow, I love this collection. These pieces are amazing. Look at those eyes, those fluorescent light eyes, luminescent, and wow, these are amazing.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I've gone through that same process in myself. Like I'm totally codependent, and I have to stop myself all the time. Some years ago, I used to be like, want to give to somebody, and I would say in my head, don't give to them, give to yourself, because actually I gave out so much, and then I was broke. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, how did this happen? Because you think you give out, you're going to get back, but that's not really true, at least in
No.
the case, So I'm like, I need to just, totally codependent, like just do myself, give myself, and then, of course, just naturally, you want to help other people.
Yeah. And you get back in other ways, right? You get back in other ways, but also like it's not the expectation, excuse me, to want to receive, when we can really take that ownership and take that power back and give to ourselves in a way that, mother ourselves and nurture ourselves in ways that no one else can do it but us, ultimately at the end of the day. And so that's what this collection really speaks to, is me finally saying, I'm going to take time for me, and I don't need to constantly be out here like always lifting others. It needs to be a balance. I think that some people have a tendency to either kind of like, exorbitantly they give to themselves and not take care of the community around them. And I was like, you know what, I think it's time. So yeah, these pieces were a lot of fun. It was the first time that I really kind of delved in and kind of like, because I know I think everything with practice you get better. So
Yeah.
I was just super explorative, with the Procreate in particular, and just really adding layers, playing with brushes, and just going ham and just having a ball. So and I really didn't want to stop, but I couldn't keep my eyes open, so I had to go to sleep, but 8 hours straight. I did shower, and I think this is one of the things that we need to speak about in the NFT space, is the self-care, that we become so obsessive. It's a really fast-paced environment. And people are really kind of like, in terms of mental health, not taking care of themselves, not getting enough exercise, fluids, healthy nutrition.
I'm
Time
good,
to like,
except for I don't go outside. I mean, I used to be like a nature lover, and now I'm like, okay, I got to make myself go outside today. It's so easy just to like stay
yeah.
inside working because it's so much amazing to do. Yeah, this is amazing how you went inside, you turned to yourself, and then this amazing art came out. I mean, these colors are so vibrant. There's such complexity, but like geniality, as well as emotion, and really amazing.
Thank you.
I love that. Yeah, like the textures, the luminous layers, and the bright. I like the gold crown. It's like almost like blinds your eyes. Wow.
Oh, thank you. This piece was super fun to do. Also, it's mixed media.
Mhm.
When I first got into NFTs, I also had like a similar process where it was another full moon, and I painted about, I was traditionally painting for 20 years, and was having, joy with that. So like, when this whole digital thing started, I was like, oh, I had a resistance towards it. I think, as many folks who are,
Yeah.
have mediums. And so I had these 12 pieces. And so if you see the background, that's actually another abstract, that, acrylic art on canvas, that I, just uploaded into the Procreate, and then started doing like just, abstract digital stuff on it. So yeah, that's how this one kind of like came about. It's this one's definitely fun, gorgeous, and I really love how it turned out.
It's mind blowing. It's so beautiful. I forgot to tell
Mhm.
everyone to smash the likes and comments and share this video. It's helped so much with the algorithm and the encouragement, because you have given out encouragement. Like when I've gone in your spaces, you're like the most encouraging person ever. So yes, we're asking for encouragement for
Mhm.
Dr. Lemny. So that's amazing. I
Thank
have to
you.
tell you, but I think we cracked the code. Like when you were talking, I think the code maybe to getting the money for the women and the people who aren't normally getting the money is to just stop giving. Because I watched this lady, her name's like Shira7. She teaches you how to not be like in relationships, not to give. She's like, no, don't do that. People are just using you. And like, she just opened my eyes, like
Mhm.
she just tells it like it is. So you're like, that's really the key, is like, don't be over giving, because for one, people don't even appreciate it and they look like down at you. You're like, oh, okay. But not that, I mean, I still believe, of course, give as much as you want to give, but it's the
Yeah.
concepts of, what, sometimes not giving, just by not giving by habit, as a normal reaction, to like think about it. Because if we're not, like you put in your tweet that really affected me, oh, we're the ones, so many women are doing the heavy lifting, and are not getting compensated. But we just, maybe just keep putting into ourselves, that's what I've been doing. I know this is not
Yeah.
about this interview, but like about 6 years ago, I was with this guy, and he was a little older, he was a medicine man, and he was just being like a typical man. And I was like, I used to go do meditations in the spirit at that time, like shamanic meditations. And I would went and ask this person. I learned as my higher self, but asking her, I was like, why are they like this? When are they going to change? And she's just like, I was crying, because you know how it is. You're like so emotional. She just like took my little chin, and she pulls it up. She goes, why are you crying? She goes, get up and be great. And that totally
Mhm.
changed my life. I was like, oh yeah, why am I focusing on this?
Mhm.
I need to get up and kick ass and make some so that's, your art is reminding me of that, because when you made kind of that choice to, I love this one too. We didn't get to talk about it, but it's amazing. I love the boot tone, the
Aw.
kind of fishnetty, and your first one looked like a moon. Did you see that too? This one, it actually looks like a moon.
Oh, that's sweet that you call that out, because again, like being influenced by the moon constantly, and
Because there's
those type.
it's a dark night. There's like a few planets, and then there's this round sort of moon face in the middle.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. The Astros for sure is something that is an element that I incorporate in my work. You'll see lots of planets. You'll see Saturn. all over the place. You know, to what you were saying earlier, you know, and this practice. So, you know, I practice Tibetan Buddhism, and there's a practice called Tonglen. And with Tonglen meditation, where you're breathing out, well, you visualize anything, someone, yourself, you know, and you see the suffering in that person, in that object, in that being. And it could be a community, it can be a nation, you know, it can be a group of people, it could be a family, you know, it could be anything, it could be yourself. And so you're breathing in their suffering, you bring it into your heart, and you clean it up. And then when you exhale, you're exhaling them, and you're visualizing either yourself, the community, the country, etc., whatever it might be that you choose at that point. And you see them happy and joyful. Now, the key here is that you should be breathing equally in as you're breathing equally out, right? So you should be giving in, taking in as much as you're giving back, you know, and as much as you're receiving and taking, so that it's a balance. So it's not that necessarily we stop giving, you know, it's that we do a balance of giving and taking, of giving and receiving, you know. And so this is definitely something that's super important to take into consideration.
Exactly, because you do want to give. I mean, giving is fun. That's really cool. That's very similar to a lot of energy clearing that we learn. You know, you bring it in. We do it on the left hand, bring it in. You transmute it through your heart. You know, you thank it for the lessons, and you, like, that's the only way to really transmute negativity with love. You can't really resist it.
Yeah, love is the same everywhere, in every culture, every discipline, every dynamic, every religion. Love is love, you know. And so it's pretty universal for sure.
All right, I don't want to go on too long, so we're going to do a Spanish interview. So this is amazing. It was great to see your work. It's so much fun to talk to you and hear your bells and so many things that you've been through. And I just feel so happy, you know, I feel like the NFT space is like the most revolutionary thing to ever hit the world since, like, maybe the Reformation. I don't know, you know, a really long time, you know. So it's great, you know, that we have access to you, where before you weren't even on social media as a doctor, you know, of psychology. You had to, like, keep your profile, you know, sparkling clean or whatever, and stay remote, you know. But now we're all in this this virtual world together. So I wish you all the success. I wish you sellouts of all of your collections immediately, and more things that I'm going to see you in New York City. And we are both going to be in the Times Square, have our NFTs displayed in Times Square. So I'm very excited about that.
Yes, congratulations to Vismesh for doing that. We're looking forward.
Yes, what's the project?
Too Young. His name is Too Young, and the project is called Vismesh. Yeah.
Yes, that's how I really connected with you again. I'd heard you around, but then I went in that space, and then I was like, okay, this is an amazing project. And it's so great to have people like you know, people who know other people in the community, because there's so many scams, so many rug pulls. So it's like, okay, this person's you know, we know them, so we can, you know, get into this project. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.